All right, we're going to try something a little bit different with this one. And as far as I'm concerned, this is worth sharing. Kennedy gave a speech to the National Press Corps. Some call it the Secret Society speech. And in my opinion, it's what got him killed. What we are all witnessing today has been attempted before.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment.
It's almost like he's predicting the future, isn't it? He knew. He knew what they wanted to accomplish. He knew what their agenda was. And that's what got him killed. Never mind the official story. We've all heard lots of official stories, but that doesn't mean that it's the way it went, that those are the actual facts, even though someone took a brush and painted it just so.
I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on
Sound familiar? Like I said, it's like he's predicting the future. And to look the other way is un-American. To not protect what is the foundation of this country, whether or not people acknowledge it or not, is treasonous.
instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations.
And for those of you who don't know, they call it the deep state.
Operations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence
When the press was still the
in the
press,
response and dedication of our citizens
at
whenever
least
they
the
are fully
majority of
informed.
them.
I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it.
Very true. We all have our errors that we've made in life. But it isn't truly a mistake. It isn't truly a wrongdoing onto someone else until we refuse to correct it.
We intend to accept full responsibility for our errors, and we expect you to point them out when we miss them. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. And that is why our press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business.
It should be a crime for any American to shrink from controversy. There is no reasonable excuse to hide our heads in the sand. It only emboldens those who would want to take our rights away from us.
Specifically protected by the Constitution, not primarily to amuse and entertain, not to emphasize the trivial and the sentimental, not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead, mold, educate, and sometimes even anger public opinion. This means greater coverage and analysis of international news, for it is no longer far away and foreign, but close at hand and local. It means greater attention to improved understanding of the news, as well as improved transmission. And it means, finally, that government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide you with the fullest possible information outside the narrowest limits of national security. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
Hoorah. That man was the last of the Democrats. Is that what the Democratic Party sounds like today? I think not. And we should all bear in mind the reasons behind it. Because the last of the Democrats just told you all about how they became what they are today. I've said it before, and I'll be more than happy to say it again. I don't give a shit who runs the show. But if they're not serving the Constitution, they're not serving us. And I won't apologize for the fact that it pisses me off when someone swears an oath to something and doesn't deliver. When someone makes a promise, even though it might not be on paper, and doesn't deliver. And never goes out of their way to correct their mistake.